Hi. So I'm here today with Sharon and Sharon Birchall. And Sharon, she's been in the aesthetics industry for over 35 years now, and she's actually with Cheshire Aesthetics, I believe. Actually, it's Cheshire Electrolysis, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So welcome, Sharon. We're going to discuss some things today about the industry. And there's some things that we've made a list of. And one of the first things that you wanted to talk about was actually the importance of education in aesthetics and knowledge. So I think that you feel that it's always important to just carry on training.
I do, Rachel. Hi, everybody. Am, I've been learning my entire career. I don't think you ever stop, and I don't think you should ever stop because things are changing all the time, and particularly since the pandemic, and the issues that we've faced since then.
How do you
So,
feel that's
yes,
impacted everything since COVID?
It's impacted everything in a couple of ways. I'll- you might remember a lot of people when they were returning to the hairdressers, they were experiencing problems with sudden allergies and sensitivities. And all of a sudden, everybody was having to be repatch tested, um, either because they'd had the virus or possibly because of the impact that the vaccine had had. We've also learned an awful lot about medicine in general due to the research that went on into the vaccine. And because of that, it's spread and given us more knowledge about different medical conditions as well. And that will always impact on the treatments that we provide,
Hmm.
um, and give us more knowledge to improve those treatments and also to be aware of client sensitivities going forward.
Which
So
treatments do you
knowledge is
actually,
huge.
it is huge, yeah. Which treatments do you actually do? If you tell us a bit about, your background and what you do and treatments that you do and your favorite treatment and that kind of thing.
Oh gosh, favorite treatment. I qualified in beauty therapy and electrolysis in 1989. I studied at South Cheshire College in Crewe, and I've worked for different skincare companies. I've worked in salons. I've done freelance. I've done makeup, nails, skin, electrolysis, and nowadays I specialise in skin and in permanent hair removal. So I offer hair removal with electrolysis. I have had IPL, but the clients preferred electrolysis, so I ended up getting rid of
Wow.
the machine. I also specialize in skin, and that's really helpful to people who maybe suffer with things like polycystic ovary syndrome, where they may come in with beard hair. And then once we've got rid of that, we can deal with issues like skin sensitivity, acne, and
Mhm.
things like that. So it's lovely to be able to provide both.
Yeah.
And it really is life-changing for some people.
I totally agree with you
So
because that's one of the things that I actually do myself is electrolysis and helping
mm,
people with skin. So it can be an absolute life changer, can't it?
it's so rewarding.
Hmm.
So I specialise in electrolysis, hair removal. I've just gained my level 5 in advanced electrolysis blemish removal, which is similar to a foundation degree.
Wow.
And that's the top of three for electrolysis. Now I've run out of qualifications in that, and part of me is relieved, and the other part of me is wondering what on earth I'm going to study next. But also, I do aesthetic skin treatments. I'm not an injector, but I do use radiofrequency, microneedling,
Hmm.
high frequency LED, and I do a lot of bespoke facials using the knowledge that I've gained over the years and the equipment that I have to create specialized facials for people with different issues. it makes it more interesting and it makes use of the knowledge that I've gained. And that's another reason why it's important to learn as much as you possibly can, because then you can provide a better service.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, the other way that you can get knowledge is actually by networking, isn't it? And that was one of the things that you said to me before
Yes.
about networking, attending events, and becoming a member of associations
Yeah.
and things like that.
Everyone can teach you something. I've always said that if I
Hmm.
go to an event or do a seminar or something like that, and I come away with one piece of knowledge, then that's invaluable.
Yeah. So what type of
And
events do you
there are
actually
some,
attend?
well, I host the Northwest Professional Electrolysis Workshop. I've been doing that since just before the pandemic. And well, I rent a room in a golf club now. I
Hmm.
have people that come from all over the UK. I even have people who fly over from Ireland. And we basically just get together. I have 4 workstations and we work on one another. We remove hair, blemishes, and we pass on tips and techniques. I also sometimes give a little presentation. We have a couple of manufacturers there. For instance, in April, which is the next event, I've got a company coming in who provide loops and dermatoscopes.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we'll get a deal from them. And we have a lady called Terry Penman who has a company called the
Hmm.
Wax Pad. And she's been creating bed and pillow covers since the pandemic that are antibacterial and antifungal. And she does
That's
them in all
amazing.
kinds of bespoke colours,
Mm.
trims, and things. I've been using her for years. She's fabulous. So she always comes up with her daughter, and we have lunch, and you can ask anything. We'll offer advice, and we make friends. I like to try to invite people who I know aren't BIAE members
Hmm.
and students
If you just
to
tell
come along and
everybody
see the
what the
benefit.
BAIE is, because some people may not know what the BAIE is.
The BIAE is older than me. It's the British Institute and Association of Electrolysists, and it
Um,
is our only professional body. It's a bit long-winded. We sometimes call it the BIEIO, but basically it was an institute and an association, and they amalgamated at some point, but couldn't agree on what to call it. So it's the BIAE.
mhm.
They're extremely supportive. Their training is second to none. I've done a lot of work with them, um, and they've just been so helpful to me in my profession. And by hosting the workshop, I wanted to carry on the work and also do more in the north. There's not a great deal up here. There's even less in Scotland, which is a tragedy. But we
Yeah,
need these events. We need the support. Most of us are lone wolves. We have our own
absolutely.
businesses. And
Yeah.
even if you have staff, you are working alone, really.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, and you need that support. You need people to lean on. You need to feel that you can ask a stupid question and no one will ridicule you for it. And they'll give you
totally agree.
advice.
Yeah, that is one of the
It's so
problems with the
important.
industry these days is that there is a lot of ridicule, really. And it is a shame because I always
Yeah,
feel that nobody can know everything. I never feel that I'm actually an
precisely.
expert in anything, and I always like to talk to people. You can, like you say, you can always glean just one little thing of information from somebody, and that can really, really help you in what you're doing. And just to feel that there are other people around you. And I have heard that the BAIE is actually very supportive, and they're quite proactive, aren't they, when it comes to
Yes. Yeah.
promoting you, because I do, I have heard that a lot of colleges now aren't actually teaching electrolysis, and I think that is just absolutely a tragedy that they're not, because it's so useful, and it changes so many people's lives as well. but I find that it's a real shame. And there should be more promotion of electrolysis, actually.
Well, that's what I'm all about. I
Hmm.
founded the Electrolysis Legacy Group to help as a cheerleader for the BIAE
Hmm.
to offer more support. The BIAE have a board. They're all busy full-time professionals, and they need more help. And also, we need to spread the word out there that electrolysis is a really rewarding career. We have dropped in numbers hugely,
Have you?
mostly due to laser coming in the late 80s, early 90s. Um, and it is a great technology, but it is not suitable for everybody.
No.
So we're now getting more and more inquiries from people realizing that, and there aren't enough of us to go round. A
Yeah.
lot of us are my age, so
Mm-hmm.
when we go, if there's no one there to take our place, it's going to be absolutely tragic
Mm-hmm.
because electrolysis is truly permanent and it's suitable for any skin type and any hair type.
Yeah. Grey hairs in
So
particular.
we need, oh, definitely,
Yeah.
white, grey, blonde, light
Ginger.
brown hair, medium brown for some people, oh, red hair particularly.
Yeah.
Laser just doesn't see it right
No, I
through it.
know. I know.
So we need to be able to provide a service for those people.
Mm.
Um, and keep that going as well.
Yeah,
So
I
I
totally
founded
agree.
the Legacy Group with a website that I think contains more information for the public about electrolysis than anything else I've ever seen, and also to give members and students more information and information about how to set up businesses, what's needed in insurance, where to go to get these services, and just provide more support. So hopefully, it's only small at the moment. I only started it last September, and it's membership. But I'm hoping that it will grow and evolve, and one day I can pass it on to somebody else and they'll continue with it as well. It is a proper legacy,
Oh, that's
and it's
fantastic.
my
I
way of
will put
giving
all of
back.
the information when I post up this video. I will put all
Thank
the
you.
information in there. I'll put a link. And I totally agree with you. I mean, I do IPL myself, and I've just recently bought a diode machine. Um, and what I tend to do is if I can, I use the diode or the IPL initially to remove as much hair as possible, or certainly to lessen it, because I've found out that diode is really amazing, actually. It works so well with the right hair type and the right color skin, it's absolutely brilliant. And then after that, I'll go in and I'll do electrolysis. So one way or another, I can, completely change the lives of people who've got facial hair, and particularly, f for women, having facial hair
Mm.
is actually just horrendous. And I have some ladies coming to me, and I'm sure you've had this as well. They come in, and as soon as they walk in the door, they practically burst into tears because they've never actually discussed it with anybody before, and they've never pointed it out to somebody or said that they need help. And they say that they can't even let their partners touch their face. They don't like to, get close, or it is terrible for them. And I'm sure you've
It is.
encountered that, yes?
Oh my God, yes. I think the hardest thing is going into a place and telling a complete stranger that you have a moustache or you
Yeah.
have a beard. Once they've overcome that barrier, it is life changing. I mean, I've known women who've got up an hour or so before their husband's gone into the
Oh, yeah.
ensuite and spent a good hour plucking every
Oh
single
my,
hair
that is
in
so
hope that
common.
he doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
is absolutely common, and I hear that at time and time again. Um, that
Mm.
ladies get up and do that before anybody wakes up, and sometimes also they shave like twice a day if they have really
Oh,
strong hair
easily.
growth. Um,
Yeah. I had a love to. A lot of people came in during the pandemic when we were able to open because they could wear face masks. And
Ah,
I saw quite a number of polycystic ovary clients. I had one
mhm.
girl with red hair. Her beard started just below her
Mhm.
eyes and it finished down here. And it was
Yeah,
thick red hair. And
yeah.
when she came in, a mask didn't cover it.
Oh,
So we started a plan where we worked around the mask so that at least she could go to the shops without shaving and feeling embarrassed.
yeah,
That
bless her.
girl now has nothing left. And
Oh, that's
she's,
fantastic.
oh, it's
I mean, the other
wonderful.
thing that we should
Um,
explain is that it is a process. I mean, electrolysis is not a fast process, is it?
it's a commitment.
It is a
Oh,
commitment.
it's not taken 5 minutes to get there. It's not going to take 5 minutes to get rid
No,
of. And also, one thing that does need to be stressed is that it is not painless.
no.
I've always said if it feels like a back massage, you are having a back massage, or
Mm,
my machine isn't switched on. It's a destructive process and you will feel
mhm,
something. But the results, you don't come in for the treatment. You don't come in to lie there and be, got with a needle.
mhm.
You come in for the results, and it is my job to make sure that you get those results and that you feel that the treatment is worth it. And I always deliver.
Yeah.
Um, it's wonderful being able to say to somebody, I guarantee that I will kill your hairs.
No.
I can't stop you producing more if you have something like polycystic ovary
Mhm.
syndrome, but you will never see that amount of hair again. When people
Yeah.
come to me, that is accumulated years of hair.
Mhm.
You aren't going to suddenly sprout that overnight. So it
Mhm.
goes from being a debilitating condition to a nuisance. So
Yeah.
if you get a few hairs, you come in and have them treated because you haven't done anything to them previously. They go in next to no time, and we just keep on top of it.
Yeah.
And that in itself is like,
How often do you actually see your clients? Is it down to money? I know there is obviously a hair cycle, um, but how often do you recommend to your clients to see them?
well, my consultations usually take an hour. And
Mm-hmm.
I go through everything. So I explain hair cycles, I explain how it's going to feel, what needs to be done, pre-care. I have a little pre-care leaflet, about hydrating, maybe taking painkillers, things like that. Obviously, post-care, very
Mm-hmm.
important.
Yeah.
And the thing that drives the treatment is the condition of the skin.
Okay, that's
So that
interesting.
takes precedence over everything. I want to get rid of your hair, but
Mm-hmm.
not at the expense of your skin condition. So the two go hand in hand for me. I do work that I try to see people as often as possible
Yeah.
because the way that I look at it is that when you remove a hair, you aren't going to see it again. If it does come back, you aren't going to see it again quite far down the line. And all the hairs that you see up to that point are the next lot.
Yeah.
So if you move as many as possible in the first cycle, you will see your results a lot sooner. You'll see them in the second cycle. So as long as the skin is happy with that, as long as it's happy with the length of time that you need to do, I like to see people regularly. And it also stops them from wanting to pull hairs out or to
Yeah.
do something detrimental. I mean, obviously you
Definitely.
can shave, but you don't want to be pulling them out. And I don't want people to be placed in that position
No.
where they feel like that's the only option. I want them in, I want those hairs out, and I want them looking forward to seeing the results next time round.
Okay, so how
And it
long
worked.
would a session be for you? Because I tend to find I can't concentrate for too long. So my longest session is actually half an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I
Gosh.
can't. I can't do
My
more than half an
uh,
hour. How
a
long
lot
do
of
you
my
do?
sessions now are an hour, 2 hours,
2 hours.
3 hours is about the max.
Oh my
But
goodness.
again, it depends what you're doing. I don't just do the face, I also do, the back, the legs, bikini,
Yeah.
underarms.
Wow.
So, and in the case of, say, the underarms, you've got two of them. So,
Yeah.
you can, it lends itself to longer sessions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be coming in forever. And I say to people, I love you very much, but I don't want you coming in for years. I want you done, gone,
Yeah.
hair free, carefree, and free and
So
upstairs for the
it does
next
also
person.
depend on client tolerances, doesn't it? Because I mean, I have had one
Oh,
client who
yes.
just literally cannot tolerate it. We've tried everything. You know, she has taken painkillers before, made sure it's a really good day. You know, she's not got a cold or anything, and she's not around her cycle, all those kinds of things, and she just has not been able to tolerate it. So you know, there is that side of it
It's
as well. It does depend on the client tolerance, doesn't it?
the client then has to decide whether that method is right for them or not, whether they can overcome that. There's only so much that you can do. I have lots of things to help make things more comfortable. Some of my clients come in with their own music or
Hmm.
something to watch on the screen, depending on where they're having done and where it's practical. Um, they know about numbing creams if they want to go and make use of those. We do everything we can, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to the clients.
Yeah.
If you can put yourself in a zone where you are just, focusing on the results that you're going to see at the end of the session, and that is always worth it, then if
Mhm.
if they can do that, that's great. But there's only so much that we can do because, like I said, you can't switch the machine off. It
No.
has a sensation.
It has to be at a
So
setting whereby
sometimes
it
the machine
works.
yeah, the machine that you use helps, the modality that you use.
Hmm.
We've got three main modalities. We've got galvanic, blend, and thermolysis. So you can try any one of those. I mean, obviously, galvanic takes longer because you are creating a chemical reaction in the follicle.
Yeah.
Whereas with thermolysis, it's an instant heat thing.
Mhm.
Blend speeds up the process, but you're still talking a number of seconds in the follicle. So
Yeah.
that is going to either increase your treatment time. I usually mop up with that. If I've got any stubborn hairs
Okay.
towards the end of the schedule, then
Hmm.
I'll do it with those.
Yeah.
But again, it all comes down to the individual client, their tolerance, the budget, the
Yeah.
schedule. I
Absolutely.
do three late nights till 8 o'clock to try to accommodate those people who work. But I actually do 10-hour days on those because I'm as busy in the morning as I am in the evening. So I do everything I can to accommodate people. Sometimes just a difference between someone not coming in straight after work when they're stressed, someone coming in the morning before they start work. That can make a big difference. You've got
Mhm.
to, the more information that you can get about a client, the better. The more holistic the treatment and the more successful it is.
Yeah, and over time, I mean, I find I build a lovely relationship with the clients because it's one of those
Oh,
treatments where
passionate.
they don't just come in once, they come in again and
Yeah,
again. And it can be over a period of a year or even 18 months, can't it? So, I mean, you do build up a
yeah. 18
relationship, yeah, with that
is
client.
is a 12 to 18 months for a lot of clients if
Yeah,
they come in as often as they can. But
yeah,
I've had a client with me for 30 years. She came into me decades ago for hair removal. I
yeah.
did her legs for her.
My
I
goodness.
still see her now. She has facials. I've never met a family, but I know so much about them.
Yeah, I've
And I
got
love
some
life
clients
and
like that
everything
who've been
else.
with me for 7 or 8 years. So we're just
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
move
lots of my
on.
favorite clients.
Yeah, we're just going to move on a little bit, and we're going
Great.
to go on to one of the things you suggested was actually finding a mentor. So, you know, finding somebody and that is difficult for people. It's difficult, you know, for me. I live rurally, and there's probably nobody really around me who I connect with, or I could connect with. So, I think you probably know I have quite a few Facebook groups, and I just feel that when those Facebook groups are nice, kind places, which some of them aren't, I do feel that is a way that
Mm.
people can make a connection and get support and network. Uh, up in the north, I think there's more kind of ways to connect with people, but when you're somewhere like down in the southwest, it's really hard to
Oh,
find
I don't
people.
agree.
Sorry?
No, we've got technology now. We have technology now. We have
Yeah.
Zoom. I'm talking to you. How
Yeah,
many
this
miles
is
apart
true.
are we?
Yeah.
We can do so much. Um, we can talk. If you wanted to, and this is something that I'm thinking about because I'd like to be able to mentor people.
Okay.
I think it's very important. You could shadow me by film. I can
Yeah.
always film something in real time, and you can comment on it, and I can talk to you. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
quite the same as being here, but it's a method, and
Definitely.
it could work. I haven't tried it yet, but it could
Mm.
work. I do have colleagues who occasionally come up here, especially for the workshop, and stay an extra day,
Yeah.
and they can come into the office and we can do something, although we can do it at the workshop as well.
Mm.
But yeah, if someone wants a one-on-one with me, then I'm totally for that. I go down and see people occasionally, any excuse for a jolly,
You've got to come
and
down and
stay
see
in a
me then.
hotel.
To be fair, doing
I could
these,
do that.
you must. Doing these interviews with people, is actually part of what you've just said, is that being able to network with people and for them to be able to watch informative interviews, where I chat with an expert such as you. That's your speciality, electrolysis, and I'll be chatting with lots of other people about their specialities. But I think that's important for people to be able to watch and learn, and even just hearing people talk about it. Just talking to you, there's been a couple of things that you've said that I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I should maybe do that. Maybe I should lengthen the times of my treatments because actually 30 minutes probably just is never really long enough. And if they're coming to me, they may as well come to me for, a one-off longer period than 30 minutes every so often. So, that's
As long as the
something that
skin's
I've learned
happy.
from you today, just in this little chat with you.
Good, good. I'm really
Yeah,
pleased to be able to do something
well,
like that.
as you
Don't be
said,
afraid. Don't be afraid to push boundaries. That's
mm,
how we learn things. That's how we pass knowledge on. I mean, I'm a northern girl and I'm pretty blunt. If anyone's mean on any of my groups, they'll be booted off. I
oh
haven't got
no,
time for those
I'm
kind of
exactly
people.
the
I
same.
want people.
It's a shame
So,
though, because
I
so
hate me
many
then.
people
Feel
have
free.
knowledge that sometimes I don't actually want to remove them from a group because they've got great knowledge. But then if they're not helpful, then or unkind, then
If you're
eventually I
keeping it
will
to
actually
yourself,
remove them.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you're going to use it to belittle people, don't belittle me, educate me. It's not
right.
my fault that I don't know something. I don't know everything. And I'm certainly not going to call somebody out for it. Again, the idea of the workshops, if someone comes along and does some work and it's not great, then we can help them. You don't
Yeah,
want to hound people out of the industry. We need people in the industry. So
absolutely.
help them to improve.
Yeah.
Can't be doing with it.
No, absolutely not. I totally agree with you. Yeah, share knowledge, don't belittle people, help them. And
Um,
the other really big thing I find in the industry is, no question is a stupid question. Some days you have a day when your mind goes blank and you just want somebody to reassure you and you just want to ask that question and it's like a basic question. It's probably almost a silly question, but you just want somebody to ask. And I think it's really important that there is somewhere that people can just go and say, look, I'm having a bad day. Somebody, please just tell me, is this right or wrong? What I'm thinking. And when people come in and say, oh, for goodness sakes, how can anybody ask that question? I mean, have they never had a bad day?
there must be some perfect people out there. I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
met one,
No.
certainly not one.
And
In
somebody
fact,
who
it's usually
can,
me asking the silly questions.
Yeah,
And don't be afraid. We're not, why do people think they have to be this?
I don't,
Oh, I'm always right now. I'm always perfect. Nah.
I don't know.
Sometimes you get out of bed and you're like, oh, for God's sake, I'll need 2 cups of coffee this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And I get to work and I say, right, I might just talk to myself today while I'm doing things because I just need to get things straight in my head. And
Yeah,
it's just how it is. You don't need to make excuses for it. As long as you do your treatment and, you leave people happy, then,
absolutely.
oh, I don't
I know.
understand
I don't
it.
understand it at all. Do you also, Sharon, do blemish removal with electrolysis, or is that something that you don't do?
Yes, I do. I've just passed my level 5 in
Oh
advanced
yes, you just
electrolysis.
said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Oh,
is,
gosh, I've been, yes. Yeah, a lot of, on the BIA website, I'm very honoured to say that a lot of the photos are the before and afters on the website about blemish removal. A lot of them are mine.
oh wow,
So,
fantastic.
I do a lot of before and after photos. They're all over my website, they're all over my Instagram page. It's quite boring, really. But yeah, I've removed a lot of blemishes in my time. And I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but I've studied as much as I can. I've
Hmm.
done a lot of courses with the Primary Care Dermatology Society. And if you do blemish removal, courses like Masked,
Oh
the
yes.
courses that the PDCS offer are absolutely invaluable.
Mm,
Recognizing lesions, knowing that what you're treating is what you believe it to be, and also having the confidence to say, no, I don't recognize this. Go to your doctor, get
absolutely.
extra help.
Yeah.
It all makes safer practitioners,
Hmm.
and also it instills confidence in the medical world.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done endoscopy courses, I've done beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And for the advanced, I was in London, just off Harley Street, and I was the only electrologist. I was surrounded by GPs and surgeons
Mm,
learning the same information as me.
yeah.
And I think that's great. But
Yeah.
also, if they get used to seeing people like me there, they will start to take it seriously. Um,
That would be great.
and
Yeah.
safety and responsibility is what it's all about.
I'm actually doing an interview with Annette Matthews, is it? From Mast, or she certainly promotes it anyway. Yeah. So I'll be
Yeah.
doing one with her soon because I feel as as an aesthetic practitioner, we absolutely have a responsibility to clients. If we see something that we feel is maybe not quite right, we have an absolute responsibility to tell them. And for my clients, what I do is I'll have a really close look at them. I'll put my magnifying glasses on and if I really don't know what it is or I'm unsure, I'll find out a bit of history, take a really close-up photograph because sometimes that's difficult for them to do. And then I say, just send that to your GP, tell them the history
Yeah.
and see what they say. And you know, I'm sure you have as well, but I can't tell you how many cancers I've actually managed to
Oh, yeah.
spot. And
Yeah.
you know, it's probably not 100, but it's at least 50, I'd say, for
If it's
clients that I've
one, you
spotted.
may have saved somebody's life or at
I
least
know,
stopped them from being disfigured
I know,
by a PC or something like that. And that's that's huge. You can
absolutely
save a
massive.
life.
Yeah, I think
Do it.
e-
Or you
even if there's therapists who don't specialize in what we do, which is the ACP and the blemish removal and electrolysis, I still feel that they have a responsibility to learn about spotting lesions, lesions which are a little bit suspicious. And I'm happy to remove things like, obviously your normal skin tag or your seborrheic keratoses. Um, but if there's anything at all, it doesn't even matter how small it is, how insignificant it looks. If there's something that I feel, there's something just not quite right about that, like a scaly patch of skin or if it's itchy or anything, I will take a photograph and I will tell them, go to your GP. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's nothing. That doesn't matter. What matters is if it is something that it then gets treated. And these days it's so hard for people to see a dermatologist. I mean, it really is.
Mm.
And sometimes in my groups, when somebody puts up an image about something and people say, well, go to your GP, these days it's actually not as easy as just going to your GP. And I feel that, getting maybe advice, getting somebody like, you or me, just to have a quick look at it, to give our thoughts on it. I know we're not medical, but we do see lots and lots of lesions and possibly more than, your normal GP, because they are, after all, a general practitioner. Um, so I feel that, yeah, we all have a responsibility to learn because we're the people who are looking at people's faces, up close, aren't we?
I found out during these courses that a GP gets an average of 7 weeks training in dermatology.
Mm,
Considering how big dermatology is as a field, I mean, they are very highly paid medical practitioners, and that is because their depth of knowledge is massive. That's You can't expect a GP to be able to
yeah,
diagnose something himself or herself. They are a gateway to a specialist. And
absolutely.
although we aren't dermatologists, if we work with skin, we need to know as much about the skin as possible.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, we can be a stepping stone, we can be a help, if nothing
Hmm.
else. Uh, we know what we're doing. If we're properly trained in
Hmm.
recognition and treatment, then we can actually remove a lot of lesions as well.
Absolutely.
And that saves a wait for a dermatologist, which can be anything up to 2 years nowadays, which if you've got a
Yeah.
simple skin tag, that's very frustrating. And also it's a drain on the NHS resources. So,
Yeah.
we need to be there, and we
Absolutely.
do form a difference.
Well, the other thing as well is, I have clients who come in to me and they have something which is really, um, depressing them actually. And
Oh,
they can't afford to go privately. Sometimes they come in and say, Rachel, I've got these. Um, and there's something which is quite simple to remove. But if they go to a dermatologist privately, it can be up to like £1,000 to remove it. And a lot of people just cannot afford to do that, to go privately. And it is a bit of a tragedy. I mean, they did used to remove things. I mean, mostly they use cryotherapy. I'm a great fan of electrolysis to remove blemishes. I actually prefer it to cryo. Um, but these people need somewhere to be able to go really, to have things like that removed at a price they can afford. And so yes, we have a
yeah.
responsibility to look at those things, but also to be able to help people to remove them.
Cryotherapy works, but I have a client who had a skin tag uh,
Mm.
in the crease of each arm.
Mm.
A
Oh.
doctor removed one with cryo,
Mm-hmm.
and I removed the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's had cryo, there's a white mark.
Yeah.
Where she had thermolysis, there's nothing.
No,
It's
I
as though
know.
it was never there.
I know.
So it can damage the skin a little bit by removing
Mhm.
the lesion.
Yeah.
Electrolysis is much more aesthetically pleasing results.
I think it's also more controlled as well, isn't it? You can control exactly how far you go. It is so precise, whereas with cryo, it's kind of it isn't precise like that. It's more generalized. And the thing that I'm not so keen on with cryo is that, if it's a skin tag, they freeze it, but it stays there. And I think that just opens you up to maybe having infections. And with
Mm.
electrolysis, you just remove it and that's it. I do try healing. I don't know about you. Um, I've had one
Yes.
person,
Yeah.
I think, have an infection, and that was more from inflammation leading to infection. They had a nickel allergy. I've very
Hmm.
rarely had people have infections, so I am a great fan, yes. Uh, I
No,
think
I
we've been talking
don't
for
think I've had it.
quite a long time, so I think we're going to draw it to a close now. Uh, if you just tell us a little bit, if you just give us like some of your information before we go, so that people know how to contact you, and wherever I post this, I will put all of your information there and a little bit about you and some photographs and all of your contact details. But if you just tell us exactly where you are, when you work.
That's very kind of you,
Oh.
Rachel. I appreciate that. I am based in Warrington in Cheshire. I have an office and treatment room within an old building there.
Hmm.
And I work Mondays, I have an NHS clinic for my transgender clients.
Hmm.
Um, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I see my other clients, and that is for facials and electrolysis and blemish removal. Um, I work from 10 till 8 on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday,
I know that
and
feeling.
10 till 6 on Friday. Yes.
Yeah,
The days go very fast.
they do. Yeah.
Again, I think when you love what you do, you get tired at the end of it, but I love it, absolutely love
Uh-huh.
it.
Me too.
Um, my website is, well, if you Google Cheshire Electrolysis, you'll find me. The Electrolysis Legacy Group, which again is at the moment is mostly electrolysis, but I would like to bring in more people to talk about laser. And I think
Okay.
that the goal really is to get either clinics where electrolysis and laser specialists work side by side,
Mm.
or to have people qualified in both.
Yeah.
And then I that's offering the best possible service. I
Hmm.
would like to go back to laser, but at my age and the financial outlay and everything, I'm probably just going to stay within my little specialised stream. But it would be lovely to work alongside a laser specialist and to be able to offer good quality service of both types
Yeah.
of hair and blemish removal.
Yeah. That's
So if
actually what
anybody
I
wants
do.
to take a look at the Electrolux Legacy Group, yeah, we should work together. We
We
shouldn't be
should definitely work
separated like
together.
that.
Absolutely. Well, look,
Um,
it's been
it's at the end of the day,
absolutely,
it's all about the client.
absolutely. It's been lovely talking to you. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'm sure that we will be
See
talking
you.
to each other a lot more. Thank you so much for
I do. So thank you very much. Thanks
that's
for
my
listening,
pleasure.
everyone.